never stays a day. A bad luck's always coming our way.
For today's Grimm adventure, we find ourselves braving the heat and the sun once again. The temperature right now is just north of 100 degrees. It's about 103 or 104. And we are walking through what is known as Alabama Hills in search of a mountain range known as Mount Whitney. The sun is bright, and I got my spooky cowboy hat, some sunscreen and water. And for this, we got to go back to 180 AD to where they filmed Gladiator.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance.
Now, before we go any further, can we just all agree that with this hat and all dressed in black at 100-degree weather, I kind of look like I stepped out of an 80s goth music video, like Sisters of Mercy or Fields of the Nephilim or something like that. Kind of digging it. Now, I know that Gladiator wasn't filmed here in the United States. I'm not an idiot. Everybody pretty much knows that. But there was one scene, just one scene, and it was filmed here in Alabama Hills, and the mountains are over there. There's a mountain range behind Russell Crowe as he's riding horseback home to see his family. The scene we're talking about is right before Russell Crowe's character, Maximus, discovers that his wife and his son, his only child, was crucified, which pretty much starts the whole revenge picture kind of thing. That horseback ride home was filmed here. Well, a quick scene, and I'm hoping I can find it. I mean, you're watching this video, which means, fast forward, I found it, but I've already been looking for the past couple hours, and it's a lot harder than you think. Now, what is this up here? It's like a doorway into the mountain. Wasn't prepared to find something like this. It definitely gives you the hills have eyes vibes, doesn't it? So aside from Gladiator and a whole bunch of westerns that were filmed here, go back for quite some time. Tremors was filmed here. The Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp was filmed here. Star Wars was filmed here. Quentin Tarantino came out here for Django Unchained. What is this? Definitely interesting, that's for sure. But walking in here, it's just a room. There's nothing that way. It looks like it's a, an entrance to a cave system of sorts, but it's really absolutely nothing. So I don't really know what that was used for. Something. I'm sure they filmed something there at some point too. Now, one of the reasons we're having a hard time getting to where we need to go is because the main road that goes back up to where they filmed is closed. At some point relatively recently, there was some flooding that happened. So you can't take that way. So we kind of have to go the long way around. I have GPS coordinates, but every time that I turn down a certain road, it's like, I don't know, I'm met with some sort of barrier. But discovering places like this, it's kind of worth it, right? I can see us coming out here and filming all kinds of stuff. We'll be back. We'll be back for sure. But right now, we're looking for that one shot. All of this for one shot from the movie Gladiator. And the funny thing about this, where we are right now, 3-hour drive from our home in Hollywood, California, in Los Angeles. 3 hours to get here for one shot. I'm crazy. But it's all about the adventure. Growing up, my dad and my grandfather were big Western fans. So I remember sitting in front of the TV as a kid, watching these old black and white Westerns on TV. And they would have the kind of Westerns where you'd see, they would have a shootout. And the cowboys would be hiding behind rocks and the bullets would hit the rock and you see a puff of smoke. That's where this stuff was filmed. All right here that you see behind me. I mean, to be standing here, even though it's so freaking hot. I even had to take my watch off because I'm getting this crazy, even with sunscreen, I'm getting this crazy tan line. Well, it looks like we finally made it to the right spot. Well, not the exact spot, we're still searching for that, but we are here at Movie Road. And down this road to the right, somewhere, we should find something that matches up to Gladiator. Looks like there's a plaque right here at the intersection. Let's go see what it says. Now, typically, I don't read these things on camera. Usually I say, you know, pause it and read it. But let's go ahead and read this one. It's not that big. Let's see here. Movie flats. Since 1920, hundreds of movies and TV episodes, including Gunga Din, I think that's how you say that, How the West Was Won, Khyber Rifles, Bengal Lancers, and High Sierra, along with The Lone Ranger and Bonanza, with such stars as Tom Mix, Hopalong Cassidy, Roy Rogers, Gary Cooper, Gene Autry, Glenn Ford, Humphrey Bogart, and John Wayne, holy cow, have been filmed in these rugged Alabama hills with their majestic Sierra Nevada background. And this plaque, dedicated by Roy Rogers, whose first starring feature was filmed here in 1938. Now if we back up and look over this way, there's the majestic Sierra Nevada mountains. Pretty crazy, right? And the one we want is that one right there. Yeah, it's getting a little bit closer. It's crazy that it's 110 degrees and you can still see snow. Mind-blowing. This is fun. Alabama Hills information. Where can I camp? Because you can come out here and camp. You got all kinds of different little information plaques, but I love this over here. Things to do. See it right there? Back up a little bit. Touring film sites, mountain biking, climbing, hiking, stargazing, horseback riding, wildlife viewing, fishing, motor touring, and photography. We are here because of that one. They're very tourist friendly out here, but you have to remember, and I love this, it says don't crush the brush. Desert plans keep the soil healthy and provide homes and food for wildlife. So don't crush the brush. I can't help to think that I'm like some dark, spooky horror cowboy out here where they made all these legendary Western movies. Now, we're finally here. This is the parking lot that I was looking for. And there's some signs saying this is where we are. You can see there are all these giant rocks that are behind me on both sides. Now we got to line up the shots this way. It's a process, but it's all worth it in the end, just for that one shot. Our journey tracking down this one shot from Gladiator has finally come to a close. Man, is it hot. But the reward is right here. Left the house at 7:30 this morning, 3-hour drive to get here. It is currently, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Trying to get to this one spot right here. In the movie Gladiator, Maximus, Russell Crowe, would have been riding his horse right down this road towards where I am right now. And I know this because of the mountains in the background, as well as the little mountain range, the tiny mountain range right there in the foreground. It may not be perfect, but it is close enough. everything matches up. Crazy to think, right? That Gladiator, just that one shot was filmed right here. When it comes to the Grimm Life Collective and everything that we do on YouTube, I mean, we cover a lot of things. I really love doing filming location videos, but oddly, they take the longest to do. There's a lot of research into it. A lot of times with true crime, all of the research is already done. But I really love doing these one-shot filming location videos. We did one with the Charlie Chaplin movie and Modern Times, where we drove out into some place very similar to this, a lot closer to LA. And we lined up the very last shot from the movie. So doing something like this and coming all the way out here just to stand here, this film history that not many people knew about. I mean, people know about it, but not everybody. The last time we did a film and location video like this, believe it or not, was for the movie Willow that came out in the 80s with Warwick Davis and Val Kilmer. All of that was filmed overseas, except for a very small scene whenever the main characters were walking in front of a waterfall on their journey. And that was actually filmed here in California as well. Something very similar to this. The place was called Bernie Falls. If you're a fan of the movie Willow, I highly recommend you watch the video. A little plug for that. The link to that video is going to be in the description of this one, as well as the Charlie Chaplin flick that I was just telling you about. I absolutely love living in Los Angeles and getting to travel the country, but there's just something very special about being the only person out in the middle of nowhere documenting something like this. Like, it's just me out here. Kind of scary if something were to happen. Well, enough of this. In town, I think it's a 20-minute drive. In town, the closest town, it's a place called Lone Pine, California. They have a film museum that talks about a lot of the films that were filmed out here, all the way dating back to, I think it was like 1918 or 1914 or something like that. It's like $5 to get in, filled with all kinds of really cool stuff. And that is where we are heading now. Now this is fun. The film museum here in Lone Pine, California, filled with all kinds of different movie history of films that were made in the mountains behind it. Definitely gives off an old Western style museum, doesn't it? We got a couple different movie posters here on the wall, like this one right here. Tarantino's Django Unchained. There we go. And then the whole side of the building is this fun mural of different films that were made here. Different production companies. Oh man, I love it. Now, I know that this is a video mainly about Gladiator, but so many other movies were filmed here. I mean, this is a film town after all. But there is something on this wall that has to do with horror. And it's coming up right over here. They actually have Tremors on the wall. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Oh, this is fun. You come here, the very first thing you do, they have a theater where they give you a documentary about the place. And it's air conditioning. This is my kind of place. I could sit in here all day long. I picked the perfect seat because right above me is the air conditioner and I have the entire theater to myself. It's a movie theater in the desert.
Offering a perfect way to display motion and distance.
Now this is really interesting. I just learned this from watching the documentary, which is absolutely amazing. You have to sit through it. Pretty much all of the westerns that came out in the teens, in the 20s and the 30s from Hollywood, where they would show a mountain range with like a black shadow-looking mountain with a snow-capped mountain behind it, was all filmed here at Lone Pine, where we just were. I mean, Lone Ranger, Hopalong Cassidy, Fatty Arbuckle, all these different people were all here. It's mind-blowing. Oh, there we go. We got some Tremors. Iron Man. Oh, so cool. All of that was filmed here. That was actually a lot of fun. The documentary was really good. Now, so many different movies and TV shows were filmed here in the hills, and no doubtedly more to come, but it'll always be the home to the American cowboy. And that's pretty much what this museum is. I'm not gonna throw a whole bunch of cowboy stuff at you, but instead just gonna throw some really cool off-the-wall things that I think you guys would like. If you're part of the channel, you'll see what I mean. This place doesn't seem like it's a very big museum, but they have a little bit of everything. There's 2 costumes right there from Wyatt Earp. Got Dennis Quaid's and Kevin Costner's costume. They got things everywhere. This is a nice little museum. Right over here, they got a little theater piece from Tarantino's Django Unchained. It's a little display case with a whole bunch of stuff from the movie, including a signed script. Very interesting. There's a little picture right here, a little poster. There's just so much stuff to look at. Old film cameras on the left, some cars over there. I see pictures of old cowboys. Isn't that a nice little museum? Oh, that's neat. Lone Pine General Store. Oh my gosh, it just goes on and on. I mean, don't get me wrong. Much respect for the cowboy history of this place, but I'm more interested in the horror side of it. So that's what I'm looking for. Right here in the center of the room is an old picture car. It's actually used in a movie, Screen Used. You see that picture that's above it? That's Humphrey Bogart. He drove this car, this actual car, up there in the hills in a movie called High Sierra. There's even a corner here for Gladiator, which I was hoping they would have something because that's the topic of this video. Looks like there's the script. Right down here they have actually the picture of the scene that we were looking for, and we found it. And then right above that in the same case is one of the costumes. Look around this way, it says training school costume from Gladiator. Happy they have that. Now, I already peeked around the corner, and I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to lose your darn mind. But before we get there, there's a whole wing here dedicated to the movie Iron Man. A good movie. It's a good movie. But if you love horror, wait until you see what this is. They have screen used. Hear me? Screen used puppets from Tremors. The ground is not safe. The ground is not safe. Just say that. The ground is not safe. Say it with me now. The ground is not safe. Well, let's get a little up close and personal with these things. There are signs that say, please do not touch me. I am very delicate. And you're right. I'm not going to touch you. I just want you for our house. Here, let me look over the fence here. Had no clue that this was here. I'm so glad we stopped in here. Oh man, look how gnarly that looks. Oh my God, they even have one of the arms. Oh my word. Okay, yeah, this is definitely cool. This is definitely cool. We're gonna come up here and do a Tremors video and come back and revisit this place. This entire room back here is all Tremors. This is a miniature, an actual miniature from Tremors 3. There's pictures everywhere. What's this over here? Oh my gosh, look at that, Beneath Perfection. You and a guest are cordially invited to the cast and crew screening of Tremors. Right there. An original script from the movie, donated by Michael Gross. Oh man. There's posters and signed pictures. This place has it all. All right, can I just say, wow? They have call sheets from Tremors. A press junket with a whole bunch of different press photos. Jessica would lose her mind about this. There's another call sheet. All right. And what do we have here? A graboid egg from Tremors Bloodlines? Come on. This has been one heck of a day. With that being said, thank you for joining us on another Grimm adventure. Let's see if we can get that whole guy in here. Until next time, happy Halloween.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always a